Hello, mathematicians, and welcome to another wonderful day of math. Mrs. Hagedorn here with you, and we are going to be using our whiteboards, counting to 100 again. And today we are going to learn how to represent numbers using numerals, numbers, actual numbers, expanded form, which we have been writing out before, and number names. So as we get started, have your dry erase marker and your whiteboard, and we should be ready to go. The first number I'd like for us to represent today is the number 38. So if you could please write the number 38, and that is the numeric form, or sometimes referred to as the standard form. And when we're representing the number 38, we're going to be making it into our proof picture again. So we're going to be coming over here where my cursor is, and we're going to be coming up and counting our tens, right? So we are going to go 10, 20, remembering that each one of these is an actual number, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38. So now as we make them with our quick tens and our ones, we are going to write 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38. And where did we find those 38? That's right, we found the 38 over here. 10, 20, 38. All of those it took to make our 38. And now we're going to write that out in our expanded form, or our equation, and it's going to be 30 plus 8 to equal 38. Hopefully that was a quick little review for us. We're going to go on to our next page now, and we're going to try to do a number that might be just a little bit more of a challenge, but I don't think too much of a challenge. We are going to continue to represent numbers that are over 100. So as we start this number that we're going to be working on today, and we are going to be working on the number 147, we won't be able to do it all with one board, but let's go ahead and start to count that up again like we did the other day. So down here in our corner, oh my, sorry about that. Totally over here in the corner, lower left-hand corner, we're going to be counting up again, and we're going to have our 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. And remember when we had our 10 tens that we said that that equaled 100 ones, or we started to use the box or the square, all right? So 10 tens equals 100 ones. All right, and as we're doing this, we are going to go on to our next page, and let's remember that we already have our 100. Okay, remember Mrs. Hagedorn's page is a little bit different, and she went ahead and made it so that we've already done our 100. So now I'm going to represent that, okay, and I don't need to do the 10 sticks again. I can just represent that I already have 100. And for those of you who didn't remember, we're going to be working on the number 147. So since I already have my 100, I now have my 110, 120, 130, 140, 141, 142, 143, 144, 145, 146, 147, 148. Oh, Mrs. Hagedorn, you started counting too much. How about just 147? All right, so now let's put our 7 ones in there. So we have our 100, right? We have our 4 tens or 40. And now our ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we have that. And we can write that again in expanded form by writing 100 plus 40 plus 7 to equal 147. All right, let's try one more together. And we're going to go down again, and we have our hundreds. And since I think that we kind of already know this, as a quick review, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And we know that our 100 is going to look like that. And so we can go on to our next page. And we already have our 100. So Mrs. Hagedorn is going to represent it up there. And I just reminded myself, I never actually told you the number we're counting to today. 183. So we have our 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. Remember, this is where we leave a little space so it's easy for us to see that we have 150. Now we have 160, 170, 180, 181, 182, and 183. And now in our expanded form, we have 100 plus 8 tens, which is 80, plus 3 ones to equal 183. And we have now written it in numeric form. We have written it in expanded form. And lastly, we have written it in a proof picture or a diagram form. Okay, so that's how we're going to be working on those numbers. Our friend the Puzzled Penguin has come to visit us here in virtual learning, and he has a little question. So I'm going to go ahead and read it for you. And what we're looking at here is the Puzzled Penguin has drawn his own proof picture for the number 197. Did he do anything wrong? Look at it closely. Well, I noticed the Puzzled Penguin has 100, so I'm going to represent that right here. But then when I come over here to count, this is where I start to actually kind of wonder. I see 1 10, 2 tens, 3 tens, 4 tens, 5 tens, 6 tens, 7 tens, 8 tens. Ooh, 8 tens. 8 tens is 80. That doesn't quite seem right. I think he's made a mistake. Let's just go on and see what else he may have done if he did anything else wrong. And then when I look at his ones, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, he has the number 186. He hasn't done the right thing. I think he's right with his drawing of his 100. But then it would really help the Puzzled Penguin if he could split up his 10 sticks the way we do so we can see them easily. And I wonder if he did 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I think that looks a lot easier and easier to count them out. Same with the ones. I wonder if he would have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would have been a lot easier to look at. And then I can see that he actually has made the right, this is wrong, Puzzled Penguin, and he has now made the right one with 100 plus 90 plus 7 to equal 197. This is the workbook page that you're going to be working on today, second grade friends, and the directions ask for hundreds, tens, and ones. Draw the numbers using the boxes with 10 sticks and circles, and then write it in the expanded form. So number 1 has been done for you. Looks like we're making the number 106, and it looks like the box for 100 is already made, and then they also included the circles for making 5 and then 6, and then wrote it down here in expanded form, 100 plus, oh, there aren't any tens. Look at that number. There's no tens. There's only a 100 and 6 ones. So 0 tens and 6 to make 106. If I'm going to make 122, I wonder if, yep, I'm going to need 100. Am I going to need any tens? You bet. I'm going to need 2 tens. How about any ones? Also going to need 2 ones so that I would have my 100, my 20, and my 2. That's my expanded form. And if you look down below, you just have more of those types of questions where instead of you finding out the numeric and writing it in your proof picture or expanded form, they've actually just given you the proof picture and then you have to represent it. So when you look at this one here by number 4, it says what number to show, and it's got a 100, 4 tens, and I can see 5 ones on top and 2 more. So I have 100, 4 tens, and 7 ones. 147 equals 100, 4 tens equals 40, and 7 ones equals 7. All right, the next part of our lesson today is just to kind of look at our numbers along with the written form. And as you've been practicing being such strong readers, we have been maybe reading some of these numbers along, but the written form is another way to look at these numbers. And I want you to kind of look along the top. I'm going to open this up again just to use my cursor. And when I do, I can see my number. Oh, come on, silly. You can see my number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now let's look when I make them into teen numbers. Look what happens. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Now I know that you have all heard these numbers, mathematicians, and you've looked at these numbers, but you might not have seen how the words actually look when they're spelled out. And they do look a little bit different. I also want you to consider and think about those teen words. Okay, so when we get down to those teen words, we have some words that just don't quite make some sense. Like in this one, I see 4, and then I see 14. The teen is behind, but the 10 or the 1 is in front of the 4. It's like the word is almost written flip-flopped. That's kind of strange. 3, right? This one is 13. Well, thir isn't even 3. That's another thing that's kind of strange. What about 5, 15? Well, this said 5 before. Now it's 5th. That's interesting. 6, 16. There's that reversal again. 7, 17. 8, 18. 9, 19. Okay, so now we've talked a little bit about reversals, but let's look at how some of these are even completely more different. Up above, when I have my 1, then all of a sudden the number that's 10 more than 1 is the word 11. The number that's 10 more than 2 is the word 12. Those don't even say 1 or 2. Same what we discovered before with the 3, and then we add 10. Instead of it being 13, it's 13, right? And instead of it being 5, and then 10 more to the 5, instead of it being 15, it's 15. So we definitely have some irregular ones there with 11, 12, 13, and 15. Plus, even more different is just like we said before, where we have the 4 and the 14. 6, 16. 7, 17. 8, 18. 9, 19. That's different. Now, if we look down below and we look at our decade numbers or our tens numbers, we can see down here that we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. Now, all of a sudden, for those numbers, we have this T number, a number with a T at the end, like in 20, or 30, or 40, or 50, or 60, 70, 80, and 90. So we noticed with the T numbers, the T means a group of 10. See what I'm talking about with the T's down here? There we go. Look at that. All right. Okay, so we have some strange numbers that stick out to us, and the words look a little different. And this is just something that you're going to have to practice and learn to watch. Another one that's kind of interesting that always gets even some big people mixed up is if you notice up here for the number 4, it's F-O-U-R. For the number 14, it's F-O-U-R-teen. But if you go down to 40, it's F-O-R. What's up with that? The English language is trying to screw us up, mess us up. That's too bad. So we really have to practice and look at our numbers, and not just with our numbers, but look at the words that also go with those numbers when we're working on them. The last page that we have for you today in your workbook is, you may notice that all of the numbers are written out for you just like we had before on the last screen that Mrs. Hagedorn showed you. And then the directions are going to ask you, they're going to ask you over here's all your numbers written out so you know how to spell those numbers, and then write the number. So when I read this one, it says 35, 30. Oh. Right there, 30. There's that T at the end. That must mean there's some 10s and some 1s. So 30, let's get a better rate color there. Yellow doesn't work so fantastic. How about some blue? 35, okay? When we come down to the next one where we see number 12, then it says to write the number. And we can see that number is 47. So we're going to want to look up above again. We're going to want to look up above, up here, and we're going to want to find that 40 right here, and then our 7 right there, and we're going to combine them. Mrs. Hagedorn's not going to have enough space, so she's just going to write over here that would be 40. Remember, we talked about that 40 changing. And then a hyphen and 7, okay? And then the last part of the assignment down for 16 and 17 is it wants you to actually write the number name and also make a quick 10s or 1s in the box. We've also been kind of calling those proof pictures. Happy learning today, second grade.